saying good morning to y'all. I'm throwing the YouTube stream into the comments. You can pop over there. Take a look at that. Oh, yeah. Good morning, Dawn. Good morning, Yoli. Let's do this. Yeah. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday morning. It is PFF morning, PFF Tuesday here. NFC North Talk with your host, Russell Wayne. We are streaming live into the Detroit Lions news. We are streaming live in Bill the Packer fan. We are streaming live into Mike the Bear fan. I don't know how many Bear fans we have left over. And we are streaming live into the Detroit Lions villain squad. If you could please take the time to go over, follow these pages to your respective fan base. Obviously, you're not going to follow me right here if you're not a Lions fan, but Lions fans, follow the Detroit Lions villain squad. And then we have a YouTube page right here. Take the time, go subscribe to the YouTube channel and get that going right here so you guys can be part of the festivities each and every morning at 11 a.m. with your host, Russell Wayne and NFC North Talk. Welcome to the program. One of my fearless co-hosts right here, Emmy-nominated Main Event Mike.
Hey, good morning, Russ.
That's my little friend right there. How you doing, man? And
I'm still intoxicated from this win over the Falcons for the Lions.
Still intoxicated over this win. I am intoxicated as well. And we're going to go through some fun stats today of all four of the NFC North teams in their respective games. See who showed out as far as all of the PFF rankings are concerned. I saw Greg Rice in the backstage for a second there, and then he popped out. I think we're going to see a Greg Rice sighting in here as well, because I know that he loves all of these PFF stats as well. So anything you want to bring to the table before we get this thing started?
No, man, let's fire it up. I'm ready to go on a Tuesday morning. I'm actually very interested to know what these PFF grades are for the Detroit Lions.
So you want to jump right in and start on the Detroit Lions? Let me get in here, get some Detroit Lions. And I just heard the pop that we're going to be getting a Greg Rice here in a second.
And then let's get into the PFF of the Packers. I know we got a few Packer fans in here this morning.
So we'll start out with the Detroit Lions game. We're going to go through team by team right here, starting with the Detroit Lions game. But first, I want to welcome to the program the West Coast stat master, Greg Rice, ladies and gentlemen.
And what up, gentlemen?
Good morning, Greg.
And that is the West Coast stat master right there. He's one of our fearless villains coming in there. Hey, when you know it's the real deal right there when you got yourself a graphic on the show right there. But we're getting into these PFF stats. Do you want to go offense or defense first, Greg?
Well, Russ, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be going by what you have. I have not yet had a chance to check out the grades. I wanted them to update yesterday just to get some league rankings from the two Monday night header games. And thank God we're done with these double Monday night header games. It affects my appearances on Monday night shows. And it's just, I don't like having to switch back and forth. Not a good get down. Just give me one Monday night game. That's all I need.
I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely feel you on that, man. Well, might as well. I got the offense up right here, and it's not to no big surprise. Sam Laporta is the highest graded Lion on the offense from week one, grading out at an 80.1, a pass blocking grade of 78.8, and a run blocking grade of 66.5. I mean, this kid is breaking out right in front of us. It's a fun thing to watch. It's not going to end It's not going to end. Yeah, you wondered who Detroit's number 2 wide receiver is. Well, you found that out yesterday with 8 catches and like 80 some odd. I don't remember how many yards he had, but I know that touchdown was awesome.
I agree.
So,
if Sam Laporta's still on your waiver wire, you're doing fantasy, it'd be a good time to pick him up. He looks like he's becoming a big time target for Jared Goff.
Yeah, and that's really uncommon for a first-year tight end. He usually takes tight ends a couple years.
Agreed.
But moving on into these PFF grades, number 2 on our list of highest grade, he only had 16 snaps, was Dan Skipper coming in relief at a 77.5, a 77.8 run blocking grade, and
that's right,
pass blocking grade. So here comes Dan Skipper, the Gypsy King. Mike, the Gypsy King comes back from the dead.
Skipper!
He did it last year, too. It's amazing, man. He's one of those Detroit Lions, you guys, that when called upon, he reminds me so much of Cleve Raymond and Tom Kennedy, guys that might maybe not get a ton of snaps because of our death, but every time they come in, they produce, they do their assignment, and it's a blessing. It really is, gentlemen.
Yeah, we called it. We called it right after training camp. Oh, don't worry, we'll see Dan Skipper again.
I love it.
So, just for the sake of the length of the show, I want to kind of just highlight the guys that have done really good. I don't know if do you want to get into the lowest guys too? A couple of the guys that produced that we knew were going to produce. Jared Goff graded out really well. Yeah. Khalif Raymond graded out really well, obviously, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jonah Jackson, Graham Glasgow graded out really good. Frank Ragnow was pretty good. So we had a pretty good performance up front as far as PFF is concerned. How
about Marvin Jones Jr.?
Marvin Jones Jr.
How did he do?
Wasn't even
okay, let's get into the bottom guys right here. So we might as well do it if we're going to do it. So the worst guys, Jason Kabinda graded out the lowest at 38.7. And then Brock Wright, Matt Nelson, Josh Reynolds, and Marvin Jones were our lowest graded 5. And they weren't Jason Kabinda was really bad, but then you got, Brock Wright, Matt Nelson, and Josh Reynolds graded out in the 40s, but Marvin Jones was at a 50. Those aren't great grades, but some of these guys are graded out in the 20s and 30s when you're talking about complete train wreck of a game. So as a whole, the Lions offense played pretty good. Now, where I think that we made our money right here is you look at some of these grades on defense. Aiden Hutchinson. Actually, you know what? I want to blow this up because I know that you want to kind of maybe make a public apology to the man right there. So I'll blow you up right there. Go ahead, Greg Rice.
You know when it comes down to it, you guys, look, I'm really hard on Aiden Hutchinson. I expected him to be a shoe-in, borderline elite player. I got to be more patient with this guy. This guy is essentially the face of our franchise, at least defensively. Look, when this guy shoots, you see the motor. He's trying on almost all of his plays. It just, like I said, I'm one of those guys who expects results. And pressures, while looking good on paper, you guys, aren't very much of a good metric in terms of where they rank compared to other defensive stats. For me personally, I have it pressures. A quarterback can still complete a pass under pressure. Now you start racking up a lot of them, then you got that quarterback's timing off. And I get that. I do. I just, in the grand scheme of things, I really do grade quarterback pressures as a low stat. I wanted to see Aiden Hutchinson got home, and he got home in a big time yesterday. I had already switched over to the Vikings-Chargers game by the time he got his strip sack fumble recovery, which is amazing stat. You want any of your edge players to be able to do it. And to be able to do all that, you guys, you got to have damn near elite athleticism. And I know Hutch has got it in him. I just want to see the consistency. And I'm not willing yet to put Aiden Hutchinson in that elite status bracket. I don't even have him in my top 10 edge defenders yet, not yet, at least to say. But he's well on his way. I just got to be more patient.
I like that call. And Aiden Hutchinson did have one hell of a game. And when you're looking at the PFF grade, 91.8 PFF grade.
Wow.
Mike, did you want to add something on this Aiden Hutchinson?
91.8. And I want to piggyback on what Greg said. This is 2023, and we are in a golden age of pass rushers, of edge rushers. So to say that Aiden Hutchinson's not in the top 10 in edge rushers in 2023, I'm okay with that.
Not a bad thing. Yeah.
Not a bad
Agreed.
thing, because we have some future Hall of Famers right before our
Definitely.
eyes. Every single weekend, Myles Garrett. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
How many great edge rushers there are in this league. But when you take into account the ceiling, especially when you consider the age, there aren't many I would take in front of Aiden Hutchinson if I were building a team.
True.
And when I get through the rest of this top 5, and actually I'm probably going to go down into the top. I'm going to go down into the top 10.
Cut to the chase, man. What did Brian Branch have? That's what we all want to know.
Trying to get the build up right
now. I know.
Brian Branch was the second highest grade, but I wanted to get something else in on Hutchinson, which was the thing that I really wanted to throw out there was his tackling was 74.3. Okay?
Much improved.
Well, the thing is like you need to be a good tackler in this. You can rush the passer all you want, okay?
Yeah.
You go after the passer, you can be Yannick. You can do that all the way. But if you can't set the edge and you can't stop the run, then you're not going to be an effective player. I think what could put him into that top 10 category is the fact that he's a stalwart against the run. He sets the edge, 74.3 tackling grade right there, which is great. And the second graded player, you guys are just chomping at the bit, 84.9. is his overall grade for Brian Branch. His run defense, 87.4. His coverage was 89.0. These are elite. These are elite grades. This is all pro type of grades here on PFF. If he can keep this type of production up, I mean, what a steal in the second round. I mean, thank you to the Green Bay Packers for that. I know you got Jordan Reed and you're all happy with him, but this is a special player right here in Brian Branch.
Is it too early to start talking about defensive player rookie of the year? Because between him and Jalen Carter, it's a 2-horse race 3 games in.
Well, I want to throw another name in there real quick, Mike. Will Anderson Jr. for these Houston Texans is playing some really good ball. He did go sackless this last game, but he did generate 4 pressures and 2 defensive stops. I do believe the game before that he had a stop. So I do look at it as a three-way race, but my God, it's like a second rounder is in the mix with 2 guys that were picked in the top 10. That's such a blessing, you guys.
Yeah,
it really is.
And I'll throw Ivan Pace. I'll throw Ivan Pace in there as an undrafted free agent in there as well.
That's a good point. Good point, Mike.
There may be a race in there, but Brian Branch is at the head of that race with a pick 6 and 3 tackles for loss, 11 tackles. Like, this kid is a linebacker that is just crushing it. I mean,
yes, he is.
You better just watch out when it comes with this kid. I think that he's going to be. I mean, for years to come, he's going to be great. I'm having a problem in the Packers group. So something's going wrong with the Bill of the Packer fans page. I don't know why we're not able to broadcast live into it right now, but that's all right. We're talking about the Lions anyway.
I like it.
But the third graded player is one of the guys that I was loving to have a bounce back game is Aleem McNeil.
Yes, sir.
80.8. He had a fantastic game. Run defense, pass rush, all in the 70s right there. What a bounce back game. Good job, Aleem McNeil. And then here we go. These are the ones that I like right here. We get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson injured for the year, and then 2 of our highest graded players at 76 and 73 are Tracy Walker and Ifeatu Melifonwu. Talk about it, guys.
Yeah, Iffy making an appearance. He only had 3 tackles, but they were impact tackles.
Yes.
And across the middle, he jarred a first down, made Atlanta punt because he jarred the ball loose with his hit on the receiver. Great to see Iffy out there. Let's just hope he can stay healthy. He's 6'3". He's a long corner. We really were expecting great things from him. He just can't stay on the field. And I remember when it was time to make cuts at training camp, Russ was thinking this kid was on the bubble, and he did make the team, and boy, aren't we glad he did once we saw the rash of injuries.
And really, I liked having a deep room like this because we had to cut guys that went to other teams.
Yeah.
And what a testament to Brad Holmes in getting that depth in here. And not just
Yeah.
get depth in name. Like, oh, yeah, they have depth. It's nice to have Mel Kiper and all these guys say it, but to actually see it play out on the field with how up against the wall we were last week with injuries and all that stuff, and to see the depth just step up like ain't no thing but a chicken wing on a string right there. We just handle it. So wow, what a great defensive performance. And I'm just gonna put some shout outs right there. Cameron Sutton had a good game. Charles Harris had a good game. Alex Anzalone had a good game. Campbell had a good game. Isaiah Buggs was a run stuffer. Kaminsky didn't have as good of a game as I wanted him to have during that. And our bottom performers on defense were Malcolm Rodriguez, Jerry Jacobs, Benito Jones, and actually, believe it or not, Derek Barnes was on the bottom of it.
What was the tackling grade for Alex Anzalone? Because I am done with people bashing Alex Anzalone.
Yeah.
I'm a guy who bashed him myself last year. This kid is awesome. What I really loved about the game on Sunday was watching him get everyone in their spots, lining up the defense at the line of scrimmage, making changes to adjust and shutting it down. He's the quarterback of the defense out there. His side-to-side speed, sideline-to-sideline speed is amazing, and his tackling is outstanding. What was the tackling grade?
You don't want to know because the PFF is never nice to
Alex Anzalone.
We're talking in the 40s and 50s and tackling. He's not a very good tackler. Let's just go ahead and call this what it is and say that if Alex Anzalone has that weakness, that is the weakest part of his game is his tackling. And I think he will get replaced when it comes down to it, because when you look at who is very good at tackling, let's do this. Brian Branch, Jack Campbell, Kaminsky, Pascal Rodriguez. You want these guys like, Jack Campbell's going to take that spot, right?
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
And that's why I asked, is because his tackling seemed great in the game.
It did.
He made some big tackles.
He did. He came up with some stops, Mike. And go ahead, Russ.
I'm sorry, I was on the wrong game. Tackling. I was on the top tacklers in this last game were Tracy Walker, Ifatu, Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Charles Harris. I'm get all these guys that are in the 70s. Look at all these good tacklers we got. Roman, Aiden. Yeah.
What was Anzalone's tackling grade in that game?
Yeah.
Anzalone's tackling grade was 47.
Still not good.
It's you know what though, Mike, it's all right. What you said there, Mike, was, look, man, this guy is our defensive captain. He's the guy putting everyone where they need to be. And you know what? Look, none of us are fooled. None of us are going to go out here and say Anzalone is elite. But I thought he played a damn good game. He had a couple stops on some key downs when we needed to get off the field. I remember his name being there. And a testament to what Russ and you guys were hitting too. Look, going into this game against the Falcons, you guys, I was not too happy. And his right tackles just kept coming off the field for us, and we got down to Sorsdale. I was really a little bit shaky, but the depth came through. Sorsdale didn't play exactly amazing, but, it's his first game. That Atlanta Falcons front seven, kudos to them, too. They were getting to us at sometimes, but we hung through, you guys, and I think we were just the better team overall.
Yeah, Sorsdal wasn't awful. Where was Sorsdal at? Let me look at him. Where's he at? I'm being really dumb right now. That's all right. I'll go. I have to look at the offense. I'm like, where's he at? I was like, okay, I'm looking at the defense. Colby Sorsdal was at 51. He actually had a 60 run block grade. I mean, for a guy that had to come in, he's a guard, practiced at guard, whole training camp to come in and play right tackle.
Yeah,
I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass for the lower.
Yeah, for sure, sure.
I'm going to get into. So I mean, I think that we spent enough time fluffing up our Lions right here. I feel pretty good about going into this Thursday's game. How about you guys?
Yeah.
You feeling pretty good right here? This, Ford Field, or not Ford Field, but Lambeau Field is where the War Week matchup's going to happen. LaFleur trying to get some revenge. He's 1-3 versus Campbell. He's got to get it done. He's got to prove it. He
It's
needs
been 736 days since the Packers have beaten the Lions.
It sure has. And let's go to that Packers game right now because no one, I figure if we lose all of our viewers, at least it'll be because at the end we're going to be talking about loser teams. So let's go to the Packers right here. On the offense, they only had a couple of players that graded in the 70s. No players in the 80s, but Gaseon Nixon, but he only had one play. So I guess that's the kick return. So there's two players that graded in the 70s, Romeo Doubs and Rasheed Walker. Rasheed Walker is the left tackle that was in place of Bakhtiari, right?
Yeah.
So, that's pretty good production. So really, you didn't have a big drop off right there from your left tackle right there. And then 68 for Zach Tom. Dante
good player
had a 65. And those are the top 5 graded players. Jordan Love had a 63.9. Underwhelming. They're not bad.
Yeah.
Bad scores. I'm not going to say 63.9 is a bad score, but it's not good. It's just average.
Well, let's call it for what it is, Russ. I haven't had a chance to watch the condensed game yet. That Packers offense was without a couple of their hitters. Whenever you're missing Aaron Jones, Christian Watson still not in yet, to my knowledge. I don't think he played this last game. The offense was lacking, and you could tell because they didn't do anything for the first 3 quarters. And that fourth quarter, though, they turned it on. From the highlights I've seen, they were able to turn on. Yeah, you can make a case that Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, and Jamal Williams were out. And let's be real, that's a pretty valid case. When you're missing quarterback 1, RB1, RB2, it's going to affect your game.
Yeah, but the Packers had a lot of players out as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Their
exactly.
RB1, their wide receiver 1, their CB1.
Yep. Agreed, Mike. Good, Russ.
Yeah, and we're not going to take anything away from this Packers comeback or anything. But here's the thing: it's like you're not going to tell me not to point out the fact that their starting quarterback went out when he was 13 for 18 with a touchdown. He drove down and had 2 scoring possessions. The only reason that he didn't score more on you was because their punt returner scored on you on that drive, so they didn't have to stop you. And then you injured him. He was killing you guys, and for you guys to compare the two things between Jameis and Winston and Carr and saying the yards were on. Jameis and Winston was throwing wide open passes in a. I don't know. Jameis and Winston. There's just definitely a difference between the two quarterbacks. You got a guy that's doing check down type of stuff to wide open guys, and then you got Derek Carr who's actually trying to get the ball downfield. Yeah. And do damaging plays to you. So I'm not going to say that's the reason you lost. It's not the excuse. I'm not making excuses and saying you shouldn't have won the game. I'm just saying that's fortunate for you. It's also fortunate that you had a field goal kicker that missed a field goal for you. That's fortunate thing. It's not the reason that you won. I'm not making excuses on that, but that is what it is. That helped.
Definitely.
He got a 17-point lead when he was knocked out of the game. So some of these Packer fans in the groups are saying, he wasn't exactly lighting it up. Well, I'm sorry, but 13 for 18 is very efficient. And they have a 17-point lead. All he's got to do now is hand it off and play it safe. He was killing you.
Yep. So let's pull that. So he's 13 for 18. So you're telling me that 26 for 36 would be bad if he just
that's the trajectory.
Production?
Right.
Yeah. I think that he was heading towards that, but that's all right. Let's get into the good spot right here. This is the highlight of the Green Bay Packers team, which is their defense. Rudy Ford balled out 88.2. You had a guy that graded in the 80s. Congratulations. Great tackler by Rudy Ford.
Rudy Ford
was their highest graded player.
He going to Notre Dame?
Rudy.
Something like that.
Rudy. And then Devondre Campbell at a 79.3. Rashawn Gary a
Killed it.
70.8. Rasul Douglas at a 75.7. And Kayceon Nixon actually had 45 total snaps on defense at cornerback.
Wow.
And played at a 74.2 clip right there. Carl Brooks with a 71.1. TJ Slayton with a 70.8. And I'm going to keep going because down to 65 is good play here. Devontae Wyatt at 68. Lucas Van Ness at 66. Preston Smith at 66. So defensively, I mean, these Green Bay Packers look pretty good.
I agree, Russ. I said it since the beginning of the season, man. This team's success was going to be predicated on their defense, about as much as Jordan Love's play. Jordan Love's numbers look good. His PFF grade, not so good. But me and Mike had talked about this. Jordan Love doesn't have to come into the league and light it up. He just has to be efficient. As long as they got a healthy Aaron Jones and that offense flows behind him, oh my God, Jordan Love he could be successful behind that. They still have a good offensive line. I'm not sleeping on the Packers at all. I do love that defense. They've gotten some good play out of their safety so far. Where's Darnell Savage, if you don't mind me asking, Russ? Because he's a big X factor to me. How's his grade?
Darnell Savage, where did he go? I'm not seeing him on. I don't even know if he played.
He might have been on the injury. He was injured. He was
Oh, wow.
He did play. He had a 63.2. I mean, that's okay. But that was the weakest part of we'll go with their worst performing players. Quay Walker at a 42.6, Valentine at a 52.7, Justin Hollins at a 56, Isaiah McDuffie at a 57, and Colby Woolen at a 58.4.
I'm really surprised that Quay Walker,
Me too,
coming off a 17 tackle game, he dropped a turd like that.
Yeah.
Well, to your guys' point, 79.6 is his tackling grade. So he may not have been in the right spot that he was supposed to be as far as PFF was grading him, but he was making the tackle. So
I like Quay Walker, you guys. I know a lot of Lions fans were going to be hesitant on him. Seemed like kind of like a highly emotional guy last year. We all saw the tunnel crying. But I will say this: I think he's going to be a damn good linebacker. Probably the best linebacker they've had in a good minute. Certainly better than AJ Hawk ever was at this point. I know AJ Hawk was super highly touted. Good comment.
I love these Packer fans. They think the world revolves around Lambeau Field and everything. It's like, oh yeah, he must have grown his hair out because he wanted to be like a Green Bay Packer. Like, I mean, it's just common knowledge. Gosh, nobody just grows their hair just to grow their hair out because, I mean, Alex is looking like Thor and shit. I mean, compare him to Thor. We compare him to Thor because he tackles people.
No, Thor only grew his hair out to be like AJ Hawk.
Yeah.
I love it.
We're gonna bite a kneecap off.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, so now that we are here, I actually got the Green Bay Packer page up and running. Bill, the Packer fan, we're broadcasting live into there. We were going over the standout PFF graded guys for week 3. And just to review, because I don't know if this went in there, Rudy Ford, Devondre Campbell, Rashawn Gary, Rasul Douglas, Nixon, Brooks, Slayton, Devontae Wyatt, Lucas Van Ness, Preston Smith. They all had pretty good games right there. If you're a Green Bay Packer fan, you should love the way that your defense is playing up to this point. Any final words before I move on to
Rudy? I don't know this Rudy. It reminds me of Fat Albert. You remember
Rudy
Fat
Ford's
Albert?
Good. Hey.
You remember Fat Albert? Let's get Rudy. No, man. Rudy can't play no football.
Rudy Ford's good, man. Last year I think he had like a 2 interception game, and I mean he's a good player, so doesn't surprise me. to go into there. I mean, we can make fun of now we just get to make fun of teams for the rest of the show today, which is phenomenal. But let's see how good these Minnesota Vikings did. We're running these guys into the mud, right? We're looking at this. They actually have some guys that play good. Well, on offense, they do. They got some pretty good offensive player. Josh Oliver is their highest grade player at tight end. It looks like he's the best tight end in Minnesota right now, 86.5 pass block.
He's had a couple good games.
Yeah. I mean, that actually looks like a better value signing than TJ Hawkinson at this point, because this is the second time he's been at the top of this.
What was TJ Hawkinson's PFF grade?
Now, let's go to TJ Hawkinson. TJ Hawkinson's grade is actually the lowest out of all the offensive players at 50.5.
TJ Droppinson. Laporta graded the highest on our team, and TJ graded the lowest on their team. Brad Holmes does it again.
Yeah, gotta love it. Gotta love it, gentlemen.
And then there's a couple of guys that you're just not surprised that are up there. Justin Jefferson coming in at an 84.5. Ed Ingram, right guard, 81.5.
Whoa!
Oh,
it's got to be his highest graded ever. I'm sorry, Russ. That just impressed me. Yeah. Ed Ingram. Wow.
Ezra Cleveland, their left guard, at a 79.9. Kirk Cousins at a 71.5. So when you got your interior, your offensive linemen blocking really well, it just goes to show that Kirk Cousins can have a good game. Their lowest graded players are, you're looking at TJ Hawkinson, CJ Ham. That's a fullback. Brandon Powell, KJ Osborne, Christian Darrisaw, Addison have a good game. Brian O'Neill didn't have a good game. Half and half.
Good, Russ. Yeah, when I turned on, because I turned on the Chargers Vikings game. Once it got to 20-6, I knew that we had it home. I turned on that game, and those tackles were essentially turnstiles for those edge players. Thule, I can't say his last name. Edge player, was a draft prospect. Had 10 pressures yesterday. The Bosa, the less known one, had a great game. That Chargers team, it baffles me, because you look at it on paper, you guys, and they have some real talent there. And for the game to be as close as it was, when you look at some of the defensive stats they compile, it just, I don't know what to say about Brandon Staley at this point. He already got beat up enough in the media for going on the fourth one, which Mike Bowles brings us up. The analytics were saying, go for it, go for it, go for it. But he couldn't get 1 yard on his own 25 or maybe 28 it was. And I just don't know what to say. Justin Herbert obviously balled out of his mind. And for the game to be that close, it just baffles me, you guys.
Alex Anzalone is Fabio.
Yes. Shout out to Leo.
There you go. Rudy is decent, but he needs to be replaced. He is not long-term. Are you kidding me?
Rudy can't play no football.
Wow. He can't play. Rudy Ford is decent, but he needs to be replaced. He was your best defensive player.
But he has been inconsistent, Russ. He's one of those type of guys. He's kind of like their safety version of Amani Warrior. He either just comes up big or just comes through as a liability. So I do get what he's saying. Yes, Ford is inconsistent.
Yeah, Ford is inconsistent. You can never rely on a Ford.
1957, folks.
Oh my gosh, you guys. All right, let's get into some of these defensive grades for the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm actually looking at this and I'm not all that unimpressed with it. Jordan Hicks at an 89.2 had a great game. Daniil Hunter had a great game at an 85.7. He had a couple sacks, looking good right there. Josh Metellus had a good game, 76.2. Harrison Smith at a 73.9. Ivan Pace Jr. with another good game, 70.2. Caleb Evans, 71.0.
It would have been higher if he hadn't tipped that ball in for a touchdown.
Ooh-wee.
Then Jaquillian Roy, and that's it. That was it. There was definitely a drop off. It went from 9 players that played good. Some of them are in just a handful of snaps, but then a whole bunch of guys in the 50s. Harrison Phillips, Andre Carter, Pat Jones, Dean Lowry, Theo Jackson, and Byron Murphy was the lowest graded player at 41.1. How you liking that signing now, guys?
We don't miss Patrick Peterson at all.
We don't.
Can we bring up Marcus Davenport, or the lack of Marcus Davenport? If you guys get a chance, look at this guy's contract. This guy was essentially paid off 1 good year for the New Orleans Saints. This is a guy who I loved coming out of college, you guys. An absolute beast. In fact, the Saints traded up, ironically, to the Packers to get this guy. And this guy has just been an absolute no-show.
I don't see him out here. He may not have played.
I don't think he played. And I don't know what to say at this point. He's definitely good.
No, you go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
I mean, they obviously, Zadarius Smith, you could say about what you want about his second half of play last year. Zadarius Smith is head and shoulders a much better player than Marcus Davenport. Another bad GM decision to trade this guy. They should have just, if you're going to give Daniel Hunter the bag and essentially make him a 1-year rental, why didn't you just keep Zadarius Smith at this point? I'm sure I'm almost positive Flores would have appreciated that. I don't know what's going on in Minnesota. Shout out to Ivan Pace Jr., though. Love this kid. I talked to Russ, talked to Mike about this kid. I wanted this kid in Detroit. So Flores is doing everything he can, but it just, are the pieces there? I don't think so. Byron Murphy, that's looking like another wash signing. So I don't know.
That Marcus Davenport, you said he had 1 good year in New Orleans. Russ and I actually looked that up. 2.5 sacks, Greg. He had 2.5 sacks, and they signed him to that giant contract for 2.5 sacks. And speaking of bad GM moves, you're talking about the Byron Murphy and the Daniil Hunter thing. They already had him on contract for the rest of the year. They go and give him an extra $16 million, but don't extend him. They just give him $16 million, and then his agent puts it in there. Yeah, you can't franchise tag us either. So you just gave him $16 million for nothing.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And don't get me wrong. Daniel Hunter is a great edge defender. I like him a lot, but it's just like you said, Mike. Like, what is the purpose of giving this guy a raise for the simple fact that he's more than likely gone next year? It just baffles me.
Because the GM of the Minnesota Vikings is Daniel Hunter, not Plus, he doesn't know how to run a football team, and that's what happens when you make stupid move after stupid move after stupid move. I'm going to pay a 2nd and 3rd round pick for TJ Hawkinson. Oh, now I'm going to make him the highest paid tight end ever. Oh, and I'm going to sign another tight end as a highest paid blocking tight end. Well, these are really, really great moves. Let's bring in Davenport and have him replace Zadarius Smith. Like, getting this guy. Is there anything that you can point to that he's done that you'd be like, yeah, that?
Well, he's an accountant. That's his background. It's in accounting.
Yep.
So not knowing football is not a surprise to me. Right? He doesn't come from a football background. And maybe we need to stop harping on it so much, and they'll keep him.
Yeah.
That's true.
Maybe we need to
4 more years.
How bad Quezzy is, and just that maybe they'll keep him.
I don't know, but they are giving up over there. I mean, when you got Jameis jumping off, Minneapolis jumping off there, going out there hitting that panic button. I mean, it is what it is, man. We told you guys. You can't. This is cap hell. Everybody goes through it. You ain't special. You ain't special by going through cap hell. You got to deal with it. Deal with it.
And Russ, good. So, something our Lions and the Bears were familiar with last year and still kind of going through this year is when you lose that much starting talent on your defense, like, you're not going to improve. It's just when you, I don't want to say it was a fire sale rebuild. I legitimately think Quasi was trying to retool it. But when you have that much turnover with your starters, it's never a good thing, and it's never a good thing this early in the season. Maybe by mid-season it gets a little bit better, but right now you're sitting at 0-3, and you're really looking at the season as like, man, those quarterbacks in the 2024 draft look really good. And it's a crappy feeling because as a Lions fan, I've been there before. But yeah, at this point, you're essentially just hoping to play spoiler. What was that? What was that, Mike? 2.5% chance of making it an 0-3 or something?
2.4% of teams in NFL history have made the playoffs after an 0-3 start, and none of them have advanced to the second round.
Wow.
And
oh, Lord.
Right here, I mean, I was listening to all you Viking fans tell me at the beginning of the season how great your offense is going to be. And he goes, yeah, at this pace, Kirk Cousins is going to throw for 6,100 yards with 51 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and an 0-17 record. I mean, that's hey, you can run offense all day, but you can't stop anybody. And that's what it comes down to is teams can run on you at the end of the game. So it doesn't even really matter. You can just get the last possession and then run on you. You're not going to stop it. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. All your defensive players went out the door. So you're hoping that Brian Flores is going to scheme you up some surprise that has no talent in the ingredients.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Oh, let's go. Let's
Before
move
you
on.
Go to the Bears, Russ, I don't think I can stomach it. I'm going to jump off. I appreciate you guys. God bless you all.
There you go.
Hey, Mike, love you, brother.
See you, man.
All right.
That is Mike. That is Mike Abraham, main event Mike. And he is the host of our Monday night show, NFC North Open Mic. You can see it every Wednesday or every Monday right before the Monday night football game. And in the last 2 weeks, I got caught off guard. We had like no viewers. No, I'm just kidding. But we didn't have as many viewers because we went on at 7:00 right when the first game started. And because they're doing the 2-game things, they're not doing the 2-game thing anymore. So they're still doing 7:00. And here we go. This is gonna be fun. You ready for this?
I am absolutely.
This isn't going to really take long because if I'm only going with the players that played good, and that's up like 65 and above grade.
Yeah, agreed.
So the highest graded player for the Chicago Bears in week 3 was Justin Fields on offense, 71.6.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And then Tyler Scott, who played 10 snaps, was 68.8, and that is the end of the list. All right,
wow.
Let's move on to defense.
Jesus. The Bears.
I can go on defense. Noah Sewell was their highest graded player. He only had 10 snaps, but those 10 snaps were 90.9. Maybe nice. Maybe they slid into something there. Jalen Johnson at 85.7. I can't name these guys off that only had like 6 snaps. I won't do that.
Yeah.
TJ Edwards at a 71.5. Gervin Dexter at a 66.1. Barely making the list right here is Tyreek Stevenson at 65.1. Was a pretty good tackler in this game. Yeah. And there was just some awful play on the other bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Their bottom 5 are Josh Blackwell at a 23. Dominic Robinson with 38 snaps at a 30. Zach Pickens at a 37.0. Jaquan Brisker at a 40. Did not have a good game. Tremaine Edmonds at a 45. Yeah, there's some money well spent right there. You're looking at $17 million now. He was one of your top 5 worst players last week because he can't cover anybody and he can't tackle anybody, and he's a linebacker.
Yeah. Ooh-wee. Russ, to their defense, look, man, I like on paper the talent polls is assembled. As they start out 0-3, and they haven't won since last year in October, you start to get the feeling of when are the wheels going to fall off. Now, I did see a presser saying that Justin Fields actually alluded to our Detroit Lions last year. It just takes one win to get the ball going. And it was a reference essentially to what we did last year. You go through some struggles, but at this point you can't help but feel that even though we started out 1-6, we did get a win our second game of last year against the Commanders, who were, for whatever reason, not a very good team. And I'll give them that. But we still felt a little hope. Now we were at 1-6, it was a different story. But the Bears are I don't want to say they're quite in panic mode, but they need to win. And they were playing up against Sean Payton's Broncos this week, a team that just lost by 50 points and are still favored in Soldier Field. I think at 1.5 was the line. And that just goes to show you what Vegas thinks of the Bears. Vegas doesn't obviously think too high of the Broncos, but it's just that they need to win. And if they're going to eke out a win early in the season, this is one of those games I think they can get it done.
Yeah, and when you're looking at this lineup, you're looking at it's teed up for the Bears and the Vikings right here. I mean, the Vikings should beat the Carolina Panthers.
Absolutely.
That's a
100%.
I mean, you need to get a win. I mean, just for the NFC North, I'm not going to be rooting for you. I think it'd be hilarious for you to go 0-4, both of you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you're going to get a win and you want to back your team, get your team right, this might be a game for you to do it right there. And then obviously we're going to Lambeau Field this week, and this is huge. This is such a huge game, and for both franchises.
Yeah.
Packer fan that's out there right here, you shouldn't be hitting the panic mode, whatever. I mean, if you're not scared of the Lions, we're a bunch of bums or whatever, you think that's fine. You have the right to think that. But here's the thing is you are one loss away. If you lose this game, that there's no more talking for you. There's no more walking you can go ahead and throw that stupid graphic up of walking the lion, but you just look dumb when you throw that up at the point when you've lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
It's been on 3 years since you've beaten a team.
And Russ, that is my reason for thinking that this is going to be a very close game. I think it can go either way. Packers, as much as we knock them, are a very proud franchise. And I know they're looking at the Detroit Lions like, we need to fix this and fix this now. And our injury report, both teams, is going to be very vital in giving one or the other team banged up. Our Detroit Lions are banged up. And so we're going to be looking at, even with some players coming in off injury, a lot of rotation. This is going to be a game based on depth. And, I like the Packers defense depth-wise in terms of their front seven. The quarterback room doesn't seem to have missed much. I do think Eric Stokes is still out. We'll see if Jair can bounce back this week. I absolutely expect Aaron Jones to play and Christian Watson. This is a vital game. I had us starting 2-2, Russ. At the beginning of the year, I didn't really like our chances in this game, but we'll have to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, I think we're a buzzsaw. We are a buzzsaw. If the Packers are to pull out a victory, I think it is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight because we're not going to go quietly into the night.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Under Dan Campbell's regime, this whole Lions being owned by the Packers thing has kind of went out the window. He's got our boys playing hard. And I want to give a testament to the entire Lions team because Jared Goff hasn't exactly played well versus the Packers as a Detroit Lion. I still think his best half of football is going all the way back to 21 in our Monday night opener against the Packers. Played very well that first half, but he hasn't really put together a good overall complete game. We'll have to see if that changes, especially with Monty. I'm assuming with his thigh bruise, going to be on limited snap action. We're going to need players to step up across the board. And I guess you could say the same with the Packers and Aaron Jones, who I'm assuming will be on a snap count as well. They're going to have some offensive players step up across the board. I did see a report that looks like Christian Watson is going to play this game. So Cam Sutton's going to get a big-time test versus a very speedy and very big wide receiver.
Right, but Cam Sutton has faced the test regardless of
absolutely.
Like to say he's played very well this year. It was a very good signing for the Detroit Lions. Yeah. And you haven't really you've seen them abuse Jerry Jacobs quite a bit. That's a lot of that is because they don't even want to throw over there where Cam is this year. And I think that's a respect thing.
It is.
Right? And with this game, I'm just thinking that we should be able to run the football. And our team, to me, if they proved anything last week, it's that they are the real deal when it comes to stopping the run. Have Aaron Jones. Don't have Aaron Jones. You're not going to get it done on the ground against this Detroit Lions team. I don't think anyone's going to, regardless. I think that's just kind of the way that we're built. I don't see this game having either team, as much as you want to see a big game out of Jared Goff, I don't see either team breaking 20 points in this game. I think it's going to be that kind of game because you've seen it. You know, 17-9. Like, these are ugly games. You got to be able to win ugly when you're playing against the Packers or the Lions. We got to be able to go out there and throw some punches. Or it's either going to be close and we win, or close and we lose, or we're going to blow them out. They're not blowing us out.
Ooh. Bold take, Russell. Very bold take, man. I like it.
Out. That's the only thing I will say. You will not blow us out. Jordan Love does not have that capability, and you don't have the horses up front to stand with us for 4 quarters. Let's see. That's just my and we this has been the PFF Tuesday. I think that we went through. We did get through all 4 teams right there.
Yes, we did, Russ.
And we're throwing it out there for the Bears and Viking fans. You guys can get a win. One of you should get a win this week.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be 2-0-4 teams.
Agreed.
You should be able to get it done right here. And what a big game for the NFC North. I'm not looking past these Packers. They still play good defense. You saw those scores that we just threw out there on PFF. They can ball out on defense. If Jared Goff doesn't give them the game with like a bunch of turnovers, we can't. If we turn the ball over, it's hard to beat any team.
Yeah, exactly. Russ, my gas line guy is here. I got to bounce out, man. I'm looking forward to jumping on tomorrow. Everybody watching, have a good day.
Peace and love right there.
All right, brother.
That is Gregor Rice right there. That is the West Coast Stat Master coming in live each and every morning right here. We're doing this, the NFC North open mic thing. I was about ready to sign off anyway because it's 11:53 and I'm done doing all my PFF stats for today. Let me look into the comments right here because I wanted to say hello to some of the people. Clueless organizations hiring clueless people, run asylums. Yeah. If there's one thing that Packer fans and Lion fans can agree on is what we've been agreeing on all summer long, which is the Vikings aren't going to be very good. And I actually am surprised that the Chicago Bears are as bad as they are. I actually thought that Poles was doing a good job, but now you got to question some of the stuff. I mean, it really does seem to be falling apart. That could be a like an internal leadership type of thing with, you know, all of their front office dudes and everything like that. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I wanted to say hi to chat. Hey, Jason Culhane in the house. Dang. I hope that wasn't too long ago. 11:42. Yeah. Jason Culhane probably going to trade Cousins, and then Jefferson will know what it feels like to be Garrett Wilson. Oh, that's good. That's good. You like that? You know, Cousins is the best thing for that franchise. I can't believe that you guys, like, Questley does not know how to run a team because you're trading away your players, you're getting rid of draft picks, and you're not getting better. You're not hitting on your draft picks. It's like, wow. LOL. Why are you talking shit about our signings when your signings, Gardner out for the season, Mosley, has he even played? Why am I talking shit about your signings? Because your signings are no good. Gardner Johnson is out for the season. That sucks. You know, injuries happen, Sarah. It's next man up. I mean, we have depth. So when Gardner Johnson, I'll address those one at a time here. First part, Gardner Johnson, that sucks. And you got Tracy Walker and Ifeatu Melifonwu. If you were listening to the beginning of the broadcast, they graded out awesome. They had a great game. It's the next man up. Next man up comes in and plays out. That's how you win have a winning franchise. Number 2, Mosley. Well, Mosley practiced at the end of the week. Didn't want to play him in the first week, and he will probably be playing his first game of the season in the Packers game. So that answers that question. So there's Mosley. So I am talking shit about your signings because your signings were awful, and my signings are really good signings. But it does suck. Injuries do suck. Every team's got to go through the injury sucks. Sarah, because we are winning and the Vikings are not. 0-3, Sarah. That's why. Oh, I'm sorry, Sarah. I shouldn't have went on you. I didn't know that these guys had all laid in you. Y'all being hypocrites is what you're saying. I don't understand what hypocrites is. I mean, I've went through all 4 teams, and I'm making fun of the signings because they're not working out for you. I mean, I don't think it's a hypocritical thing. My team's 2-1 and you're 0-3. Robert, the Bears. Yeah. I'm going through some of these. Let's see what I got. Let's see what we got. John Doran says, Love will have more TDs than Noodle Arm Goff. Has less interception, can easily pick apart Lions' weak secondary. Okay. John Doran, you've been talking more smack than any Packer fan that's out there. And you don't see Lions fans up here talking about how we're just going to whoop your ass. Like, we give you guys respect. You don't give us respect. And I hope that you get humbled. I hope that you get humbled because you have no basis around it. The secondary hasn't been easy. Our secondary players were our best players last week. And it's all about the last week. And we can't look at your game and say, wow, Derek Carr went out and then you guys all of a sudden started winning. I can't look at that and say that. I can't say that a missed field goal contributed to your win. I can't say that, but you're just going to be on right there. Okay, tough guy. LMAO. What do you consider a blowout? Put it on record, please. I'm not considering it a blowout. I'm saying that you ain't going to blow us out. You will not blow us out. We may blow you out. But this is in Lambeau. I actually do think it's going to be a close game. So here's what I'll say. I think that the Lions are going to win. Let's call it 20-13. 20-13. And that's not a blowout win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout win. Love has more TDs. Okay, yeah, we already did that one. Yeah, because he's injured, and it's okay. It's a great signing, even though you are sitting here criticizing the same shit. I don't understand what I'm criticizing. What am I criticizing besides the guys that are on your team that aren't playing good? How is it a bad signing when your guy gets injured? Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was playing like one of the best safeties in the league at the time he went out. It's an injury. Injuries happen. It doesn't make it a bad signing because the guy got injured. It makes it a bad signing when the guy isn't injured and he plays on your team and he plays like shit. I'm not over here talking about a bunch of guys on my team that ain't good and trying to make up stats about things that aren't good. I went through and I talked about the guys that played that were good, like Sam Laporta. He played good. Sam Laporta played better than TJ Hawkinson. He blocks better than TJ Hawkinson. He catches the ball better than TJ Hawkinson. TJ Hawkinson did not have a good game this week. All I'm doing is reporting the news. That's it. I'm just reading. I'm looking up the PFF stat right now, and I'm bringing it up. And I look on the offense, and I look at the bad players on your offense. KJ Osborne, TJ Hawkinson, Christian Darrisaw. Those guys did not have good games. I also went through the guys that didn't have good games on the Lions team too. On offense, Jason Kabinda and Brock Wright, Matt Nelson, Josh Reynolds, they did not have good games. Every player has a handful of teams that play good. Some of them play good. Some of them play bad. The Minnesota Vikings, they had a lot of good offensive players. Justin Jefferson. He's the truth. He's the truth. Cousins is a bum. I can't believe you would say that. He's like, you should have extended him. He's one of the best players on your team, like every week. Cousins, come through the rescue, at least on the number side of it. I don't watch the games like on a fine tooth comb like you do. I do just watch the replay and the condensed versions of these games. You usually get most of the game in that, but you don't get to feel the ebb and flow like you would while you're watching the whole game in there. So we're going to get into some predictions tomorrow for this game coming up, but you can go ahead and throw your predictions in there. I'm getting done right here. Cousins is nothing but empty stats. You know what they used to say here with Matt Stafford, Sarah? We used to say a lot of the same stuff about Matt Stafford. And it's because he would come back and they would be down and he would almost come back and it was frustrating. He had frustrating stats. It wasn't an exciting guy, right? Matt Stafford could come back and throw up some stats, but he wouldn't beat any of the good teams. He would come back on bad teams and we would win all these games, but Jared Goff's a little bit different. Actually, I think Stafford's a better quarterback than Goff, but Goff seems to play within the constructs of the team better when it comes, because he's beating good teams. Goff beat good teams and Stafford didn't. Cousins is kind of like the same way. Last year, he won, he was Captain Kirk. He was coming back in all these games. Now you guys are losing these close games. That's what we were telling you during the middle of the season, Sarah, is like that type of, winning all of those close games, that's not sustainable because the other teams in the NFL are also good, and sometimes you're fighting out in them close games and you want to win 60, 70% of them. You guys were 100% last year. And that's what it is, So the Jets fans wants Cousins bad. Yeah, that might be a thing. I mean, are we going to be talking about this Kirk Cousins trade here in a little bit? I tell you what, if they go 0-4, I might throw some gas on that fire. Rob says, I agree, Russ. Vikings should trade him to the Jets. Rebuild time. Do the Jets trade for Cousins? I don't know, man. They got, they were giving away picks. They're not going to have to give away a first-round pick now because of the Rodgers thing. So maybe they do, but they'd have to make the money work somehow. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Please keep John Dorn off the show. He's the definition of a blowhard. I can't keep people off the show. We got to grow thicker skin when it comes with this stuff. We're a smack talking show. I mean, as much as I don't want to be a smack talking show in the morning, some of the friends of the other fan bases, they like to talk smack. Give it back to them. Give it back to them. Ain't gonna. You know what John Dorn said? John Dorn said that if the Lions win the division, he'll stop saying same old Lions. How about that? How about that? If the Lions can win the division, then John Dorn will stop saying same old Lions. So for anybody that's out there watching on YouTube right now, the 23 people that are on there, can you just take the time for 1 second right now? Can you go hit that subscribe button and hit that like button on the video? That stuff helps and it's free. It helps. It really does. Helps us reach more football fans. And I love being able to do this. It is my honor and my privilege to be able to come here every day and be able to deliver football content to NFC North fans. And in a unique way. Everybody else, a bunch of blowhards on here talking smack about their team, giving stats that are unbiased. I try to be as unbiased as I can. But when I'm right about stuff, I'm going to beat my chest a little bit. I was right about the Vikings. They're no good. I've been talking about it all summer. And I told you, Sarah, that I would come on here if I was wrong. And I always come on here correct if I'm wrong. I admit when I'm wrong. But that also means that I get to come on here and tell you when I was right. And I was right about the Minnesota Vikings. They are not a good football team. They do have some good players. But the Minnesota Vikings are 0-3. I actually thought that the Chicago Bears, I was wrong about the Chicago Bears. I actually thought the Chicago Bears would be better. And they have exceeded my expectations of sucking and not being good.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
The Lions, I expected them to be 2-1 at this point. I expected them to lose to Kansas City and beat Seattle, and I expected them to beat Atlanta. Didn't happen like that, but we're still 2-1. We ended up beating Kansas City and losing to Seattle. You know, here we are. It's a long season, guys. This is a long season. Things could change. Minnesota Vikings could win their next 6 games. And who am I to say? You look at some of those defensive grades that they have, there are some ascending players on that Minnesota team. You might not know their names yet, but they're grading out pretty well on PFF. Green Bay's defense is legit. That's what we know after 3 weeks. They can make stops. That defense is good enough to keep Jordan Love into games, no matter what you feel about him. You may not like Jordan Love. You may not. I don't believe in Jordan Love like they believe in Jordan Love. But here's the thing. If you got a defense that can keep you in games, Jordan Love is good enough to win you games, and he's already proven that. Beat the shit out of the. It's almost like, you know, being a bully when you get to play the the Chicago Bears. That's a good win. That was a good get right win right off the bat. And then the Lions. I mean, the Lions, I think, are coming out there looking as advertised. That was some of the hardest part of their schedule. Was at the beginning of the season. When you're talking about the Super Bowl champs. And they did get fortunate with injuries on that, but too bad. They got the win there. And then they played a good Seattle team that got better in the offseason, that went to the playoffs last year. And a really good Atlanta team that just beat the Packers last week. And we truck stick that team with backups. So I like the Lions' chances in this next game. The Bears and the Vikings, just to review, the Bears and the Vikings could get a win this week. You want to get right? You're playing a wounded Panthers team, and that Broncos team sucks. But so do the Bears. So who's going to win? Who's going to win that 0-3? That 0-3 battle right there and finally get a win? Are they going to be both at 0-4? Who's going to get that win? Who's going to get that first win? Coming to the end of the broadcast right here. I want to thank everybody right there. I want to put a shout out to everybody that helps us do this thing right here. Packer fans, Bill the Packer fan is the man right there. If you're into the Packer head stuff and you think the Packers are going to win on Thursday, right there, go follow Bill the Packer fan. Bear fans, sorry for the hard year, but not sorry. I love to see you guys in pain. Yeah, the Bears suck. But they still do have fans. Their diehard fans are some of the best fans in the world. I appreciate Bear fan Mike the Bear fan CNG podcast. These guys that are just diehard Bear fans. They want to see a good team, just like the Lions do. The Detroit Lions villain squad, become one of our villains. Thank you. We would love you to do that. Follow the page. That's what keeps the juice running. I ain't going to go out there, try to get subscriptions from you guys or try to get money from you guys in any other way. You can help our page just simply by hitting the like button on the video that you're watching right now. If you're on YouTube, just hit that like button. That's the type of stuff that helps us get out there and influence in the football world. And this is NFC North. This is NFC North Talk with Russell Wayne. That's me. I appreciate you guys coming on here today and talking some football with us on PFF Tuesdays. So join me each and every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Time for NFC North Talk with Russell Wayne. subscribe to the YouTube channel. And may the Lord keep you. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again tomorrow morning. God bless you. Peace and love. One pride. All right. Thank you so much for watching the broadcast today. NFC North Talk with Russell Wayne. Please take the time right now to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're still watching. I threw the link into the comments right there. Like this video. The frozen tundra of Lambeau Field on Thursday night. The epic battle for the top of the division. It's NFC North Open Mic with your host, Main Event Mike, on 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Best quarterback in the NFC North. Notice that Justin Fields isn't on there. Now, some of y'all Lions fans owe Aaron Glenn an apology. You know who you are. You owe Aaron Glenn an apology. And if your first thought when you heard this was, no, I don't. He needs to do it. And you started doing that, you're the guy. You're the one that owes it to him. Talking fire Aaron Glenn. You need to go back and watch that game again in Seattle. And you need to put the blame on the right thing. Don't turn the ball over. They would have won that Seattle game. Look at how they showed out. Nice job, Aaron Glenn. It's all teed up for you, Bears, Vikings. One of you is going to get a win this week. I think the Vikings can get a win this week. They should beat the Carolina Panthers. I think it's the Vikings that get the win. I think the Bears still lose.
What?
Just a little reminder to all you Packer heads out there. It's been 735 days since the Packers have beaten the Lions. Make that 736. That was yesterday's graphic. And they asked Dan Campbell, why are you so aggressive on defense? Look, man, there is no fourth down. Fourth down is just an extension of third down. Third down is an illusion. We can get this, man. I got a feeling. I got a feeling this time. We can get it. Look, man. Can you believe that the Chicago Bears traded 2 first-round picks to get a quarterback that wasn't as good as the quarterback that the roster? Look at that. Trubisky. Come on, man. Let it go. It's the Green Bay Packers in the Love Boats, Season 1. Coming to Lambeau Field Thursday night versus your Detroit Lions. Let's go. Why? There. Look, man. I hope you guys had some fun today. And for those of you that always stick around all the way to the end for the great ending, the beautiful ending, the reminder right here. And hopefully I'll get to play this on Friday morning. But I'll leave you with this.
It's not fair. They were so happy. It's not gonna be okay.
What's going on, Russell Wayne and the Main Event 365 Network? This is Jason Kabinda from the Detroit Lions. Here to give y'all a shout out, man. We appreciate all the support, man. Know you guys are big fans. Know that you guys are rooting for us to take the North this year, and we're going to do just that, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Just want to give y'all a shout out. Y'all have a great day.